Good morning, people. Good morning, thriving warriors and others. Today is Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. And here we are in Pahrump at about 6 a.m. Just getting ready for the broadcast. But here we are. Good morning, people. Let's get started. We're going to start a little differently. Let's get our coffee. Maybe we'll start that in the future differently. Pen, paper. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Charlene. Okay, so we're going to go with our new format today, which is we're not going to read the fable. We're not going to read Seth Godin. And we're going to focus on major things that we need to get done. Starting with what is our purpose for being here? Our purpose for being here is to help our people and other interested people get from where they are to someplace better, from point A to point B, from Someday Isle to Success Landia. And we do it sort of through this podcast, but it's really through the stuff in the description down below. That's where the magic is. That's where the experts are doing their talking. That's where we have the links to the important stuff. And if you commit 1 hour per day, I can promise you, you will proceed on your journey today. And if you do it every day, if you make it a habit, you will continue to proceed every day. We've spent a lot of time over the years, daily, trying to do the Navy SEAL Maxim. Yesterday was the only day. And Nolan Bushnell's thing of we're never going to be as crappy as we are today. That kind of approach to get this podcast for our students, our people that are interested, to make it easy for them to just do this every day and move forward. Unfortunately, most people don't do it. And that is, I should say, most people don't, and none of the people who feel they're making progress, none of the people who feel they're not making progress do it. They're too busy or too tired or whatever it is to do the work. So, but here we are, and let's get started with our advice from an 80-year-old. Be romantic. Okay, cool. I have my little sip of coffee. Had a doctor's appointment yesterday. Now that I'm on Medicare, I've been for about a year. Now that I'm on Medicare, they send doctors out to see you. They send doctors out. So I had a physical, boom, good. Everything is spot on. Blood pressure, of course, my blood work is done differently, but blood pressure, weight, all of the other stuff they do. So the doctor said, good job. So I feel good about that. Let's move on to our attitude of gratitude. I'm so happy and grateful now that blank. What am I so happy and grateful for now? And you need to ask yourself the question, what am I so happy and grateful for right now? And then watch your brain, watch as things start coming to your brain. That's how it works. This is also not just a lesson in attitude of gratitude, start the day off in a positive note. This is also a way to understand that our brains have evolved to solve problems. You have to give it a problem to solve. You can't make a statement and expect your brain to do things, meaning this sucks, and then expect it to not suck. You could just turn that around and say, what can I do right now to make this not suck? And your brain will start thinking of answers to that question. But you have to pose a problem for your brain to solve. So that's the other good thing about this attitude of gratitude, is to look at the actual practice of asking your brain a question, stepping outside phenomenology and then looking back and say, oh yeah, I can see my brain is doing those kinds of things. Kind of cool. Next on our hit parade, very good motivational video today. There was a particular line in there, darn, particular line that I wanted to write down to remember. It's about 3.5 minutes in. It's a very good line, 3.5 minutes in, about changing. Darren Hardy, also great mentorship, little 10-minute video regarding leadership versus producer. Just because you're good, you can be a great hitter in baseball, that doesn't mean you're going to be a great manager. And so often people are promoted from what they're good at into leadership positions, but they don't know how to lead. And so they do miserable, they hate their job, everything falls apart. So that's a great one. TED Talk, Jordan Peterson. This is a little bit of a new one regarding IQ, about how important it is. This is pretty statistically based, but I think you can still pull out of it that IQ, every job that's out there has an IQ range. Let's say it's here. Here's the minimum IQ you need to do that job. Here's the maximum IQ. And you want to be at like a 25%, the top 25%. You want to be not much higher than that, because then the job looks easy and boring and everyone else looks like morons. You don't want it to be too low where you're barely able to do the job because the job looks extremely hard and you look like the moron. So it's important to know your IQ. And every month when we get to this one, I say, yes, we test the IQs. Nobody seems to be interested in doing that. And it's not like a thing of saying, oh, here's the IQ test, do it. It has to be proctored, because it's 50 questions in 12 minutes. And if you're not properly prepared, you just won't do it right. It won't have any meaning. And then the questions are out there, the answers are out there. But it's a thing we need to do. If you do the IQ test, you find out your IQ. And another reason we don't really do it is because people think they have an IQ that's way higher than it actually is. And they don't know what IQ is. A lot of people say, yeah, when I was in the 3rd grade, I was a genius level, but school was boring for me, so I didn't even graduate because I was better than school. And then they get their IQ and they find out they're way lower than average, like 6 points below the average, like 94. And they don't believe it, and et cetera, because they have this belief that they have a high IQ. And the reason they are not successful in life, the reason they're unemployed, maybe got out of prison, et cetera, the reason all of that happened is because school was boring. The world was not good enough for their expectations. It didn't meet their expectations. So Seth Godin, good. Fable was good today. We will do the prayer. Thanks be to you, O Lord, our Lord Jesus Christ, for all of the benefits which you have given us, for all the pains and insults which have been borne for us, which you have borne for us. Most merciful Redeemer, friend and brother, may we know you more clearly, love you more dearly, follow you more nearly day by day. Reminds me of that song. Okay, how are we doing for time? We're at 9 minutes in. Okay, this is a 4-part transformative program that focuses on physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And I will tell you, if those are too far out of balance, you're great physically, but you don't have good mental, you don't have good emotional control, you don't have a spiritual foundation. When you get out there beyond your, let's say, expertise, your comfort level, you won't do well and you won't become a high achiever. The way to maximize the journey in life is to focus on each of those 4 things. Physical, be in good physical health, fitness, and health. Eat properly, get the right amount of sleep. Sleep is vital, and exercise. Mental, always be learning. Always be learning. Learning things that are important for the future. We're in the early stages of something that's going to change the world as we know it even more than it has in the last 20 years. The biggest thing in the last 20 years is smartphones. They've radically changed life. Smartphones have radically changed life. Things that weren't possible before smartphones, like Uber, like deliveries, things like that. Banking has all changed. Smartphones have changed the world as we know it, but it was so incremental we don't notice it. But if you think back to your life 20 years ago, be like, wow, damn, this is really different. Well, the next 20 years is going to be way more different than that. So we need to get on top of AI and things. You need to learn. You need to stay on top of things. Emotional. The thing that destroys most people is they lose control of their emotions. They let somebody else control their emotions, and then they self-sabotage, self-destruct, and they get taken out of the game. It is not an automatic thing. It is a learned thing. That's why so many people out there go to therapy, and why that's the biggest growing, not the biggest, a largely high, fast growing segment is mental health treatment, helping people get better. So that's one of the things. And of course, the spiritual is the most important thing. Belief that Jesus is the Messiah, universal salvation, etc., how to be a better person. And by being spiritually grounded, the journey will be better. You will be more effective mentally, more effective emotionally. You'll be motivated to be in better health and fitness. All things work together if you use spirituality. Believe that Jesus is the Messiah as your foundation. And okay, so we're at 12 minutes. Wow, way longer than I thought. Sorry, people. Sorry, I want to get this down to 10 minutes and motivate people to watch the stuff that's down below, because that's where it is. Close with Navy SEAL Maxim. The one thing you can do today is just endeavor to get a little bit more comfortable, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Do that. And then if you're still hurt here, that means God is not through with you yet. And I will say, and cut. And cut.